we got a lot to do today, so I'm going to get started and let's go through our supplies, okay? Thank you guys for joining us on the 23rd day of the 24 days of Merry Making. So we're the second to the last day. Tomorrow's the last day. We'll be doing that one too, right, Zoe? Yes. So you guys should join us if you can. It'll be a short one tomorrow. We're going to be doing a yarn wrap star and reading a little story. So today we are doing sensory bottles. Can you hold that for me? All right.
Can I show them what it does?
Of course you can. Check it out. Look at all that glittery goodness inside. So we have the frosty one. I like that one. What do you think?
Frosty the
Are we gonna?
Snowman?
Sure. We're gonna switch. Okay, and then we have Santa going down the chimney to put presents under the Christmas tree. Whoa, that one is crazy. It's like a tornado. So, and then if we have time, which we should have time, I'm gonna show you guys how to make snowballs that you can throw inside. So these are little pom-poms that I'm gonna show you how to make. You make the pom-poms for the earmuffs. So your skill you learn on your sensory bottle will let you have snowball fights inside. All right.
Ooh.
So let's go through the supplies real quick. And I'm gonna set the ones down that we've already looked at. So if you guys wanna see them at any time, just let Debbie know in the Q&A and Zoe or I will bring them back out so you can take a look at them. All right, so you're gonna need some warm water and some glycerin. And then your glitter of choice. And that's what's going to make the magic inside of your sensory bottle. It's like a snow globe. So when you shake it, the glitter goes everywhere. And these are your two magic components. Now, some of you may be wondering, what can I use if I don't have glycerin or I couldn't find it or, something like that. So there's a few things you can use that act similarly that you might have around the house. Baby oil or mineral oil will work, or soft soap. So if you have just liquid hand soap, soft soap, that'll work too. They don't do quite as well as the glycerin, but baby oil, mineral oil, soft soap, that will work if you don't have the glycerin. All right.
So Jen, a couple quick questions coming in about the water. So is there an ideal temperature for the water and approximately how much water?
All right, so the ideal temperature is warm. I just stuck my finger in mine and it's warm. I don't think it will mess it up if it's off of warm just a little bit one way or the other. You don't want to use super cold water or super hot water. And the amount depends on your container. So here, let me show you. So the one that's in the supply list is just the I think it's ArtMinds. Yeah, ArtMinds plastic container, which is awesome because it won't break. But you guys can totally do this upcycle. So you can use a container. A few days ago, I did lava lamp, and I used just a recycled glass bottle that I had. So you can do this in a glass bottle that you have at home or plastic container that you have at home. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna fill it up, all except maybe the last inch and a quarter. So then that leaves room for your glycerin or your mineral oil or whatever. So this container is, I'm putting 1.5 cups of water to 2 ounces of glycerin. Now, you can put more than that in there. So I believe the instructions actually say you can put 2 bottles of the glycerin. So if you're going to maybe err on the side of putting a little bit more of the glycerin or the baby oil or the mineral oil to your ratio. But let's see, Debbie, help me do the math here. So that's 8 and 4. So that's 12 ounces of water to 2 ounces of glycerin, 2 to 4 ounces of glycerin. So think of it that way. So if you're anywhere between 2 or 4, that's the ratio that you're looking for. Okay. Hopefully that answered your questions. All right. Okay. So we're going to start with pouring the water into the bottle. And again, I'm just gonna pour in,
A little bit.
yep, I'm gonna pour in all the way up to about 1.5 inches, which comes out to about 1.5 cups of water. Now my water is not hot, but it is warm enough that like it's giving like a light fog on the container. So if that gives you any indication as to how warm you might want it to be. All right, and then I'm gonna pour in my glycerin.
Can I pour it in?
Yes, you can pour it in. So see that little hole? Just be real careful. Pour it in. Give it a squeeze. There you go.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know.
You have
So Jen, while you're pouring that in, there's a couple people that are asking questions because they're concerned that they don't have some of the things that you have laying on your counter, like the gel markers and things like that. But I'm sure you're going to explain that there's all sorts of things they can use.
Yes, that is true. Okay, so now that I have my bottle prepped here, let's talk through some of the other supplies I have. Now, also, if you're crafting with somebody, here, I'm gonna give you a little hack here. Go ahead and have one of you guys, or you can do it while you're listening to me if you're crafting alone. Go ahead and cut out the template that you've printed. Zoe's gonna do mine right now. And then I'll go through the supplies while you're cutting out the template because I wanna make sure that we have enough time. All right, so you're gonna need some glue because for this one right here, we're gonna glue on the eyes, we're gonna glue on the nose, the little headband and the ears and the scarf. These little snowflakes are adhesive, so we won't have to glue them on. But what I have here is just the Creatology glue, and it says it's the glitter sequin glue. It doesn't matter. I just like this one because it has the little small applicator tip on it. You can have the one that has the brush tip on it if you want. If you have Elmer's glue, that's fine too. This is just, I really like this one. You're gonna need some kind of glitter. Now I have a glitter pack, just a Creatology glitter pack. And man, there's like tons of these. So you don't have to use the snowflake one that I have here. You could use any color that's your favorite color. You can use just a plain white large glitter. That's what I'm gonna put in the Christmas tree. So really just whatever glitter you have at home, or you can actually put pom-poms in them. So if you wanna do, I'm not gonna put pom-poms in mine today, but if you have the small craft pom-poms, you can put those in there and it'll, swirl around in the water. You want to put pom-poms in yours?
So Jen, let's go back just for a small moment and go through, you said that you put the water in, and then how much glycerin do we put in? So
for 12 ounces of water, you're going to put 2 to 4 ounces of glycerin. So a bottle, the little bottle that we sell, that if you went to the supply list and you got the 2 on the supply list, here, I'm going to try to hold it up so you can see it. There's like a shiny spot on it. The glycerin that you can get, it's in the cooking area, actually, I think, the Wilton.
Yes, yes, it is.
Bottle. So what you can do is you can use 1 or you can use 2. And what this does is it slows down your spin. So when you're doing this, like if you didn't have that in there, it would just, the glitter would swirl around and fall down really, really quick. But because I have that in there, it slows the spin down and it gives you a much longer lasting swirl. It gives it suspension to the water and holds that glitter up in the water better than if you just had water in this bottle. So there's no magic, to how much you put in there. If you're following about that ratio of, 12 ounces to 2 to 4 ounces of glycerin.
Now, you did say glycerin, if they didn't have it, they could use baby oil, soft soap. Is there anything else?
Mineral oil was the other one. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That answers all the questions we have now.
Awesome. Okay. So also I have some foam. Now, most of this foam that you see here will be used on the Snowman. I've got some paint pens, and I also brought some markers that are the gel markers by Crayola. And I thought if you don't have, If you don't have paint pens, you know, you might have these. These are a little bit more kid friendly if you want the kids to do it. If, you know, the grown-ups doing it, the paint pen's fine. If you don't have either of these, you can actually use any of the Creatology or Crayola paint or craft paint, whatever paint, you know, washable paint you have on hand will work just fine. Because what we're doing with that is just putting the decorations on these presents at the bottom. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do my other bottle. I'm gonna go ahead and set the water for my other bottle. Now, it also calls for, there's a little stick, or you can use a bamboo chopstick to mix it. So make sure that you mix the glycerin in with the water. Give it a good mix with something long that you can get down in there. Let's see. Like I said, I'm gonna, oh, you got them all cut up.
No.
Oh, you missed them, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one ready so that we can just put the glitter straight in when we're ready.
Sounds funny.
It does sound funny, doesn't it? It's making a chugging noise. All right. Any other questions, Debbie, while I'm doing this?
No, no, but you have a visitor.
Yeah, we have a guest. Little lady Cora is here to see us. She likes to craft with us. So, all right, Cora, you've got to go. I'm sorry.
She's like, I want to be with you.
Yeah, she misses us. All right. So again, you can take a little dowel rod, a bamboo stick, or you can just shake it. Shaking it works fine too. And make sure you get that good and mixed up. It'll have like a kind of an oily quality to it. You know, when you're swirling it around, it's really hard to see on camera. You can tell when you put the glycerin or the mineral oil in that it's in there because it gives it a weird wavy look. All right. So thank you. Very good. Now, Zoe, we are going to make this little guy right here. So I'm going to show you again. We're going to make the snowman here with the blue glitter inside. All right. So we need, for this one, I have these foam, these foam snowflakes. Again, this is Creatology. They come like this. You can use these, or you can decorate this any way you want. If you have these pens, you can use the white one and draw your own snowflakes on here. You can cut out paper snowflakes and put them on here. So don't worry if you don't have the foam. There's tons of way you can decorate this little guy. You can even give him buttons, like maybe he's got a coat on because he's cold outside. And then we're also going to braid him a little scarf and make him some little earmuffs here with some pom-poms. So let's get started doing that. Oh, and make sure you have your wiggly eyes. He's got to have eyes. Yes.
Can I cut this?
You want to use some foam to make decorations for him? Okay, yes. You're going to cut out some snowflakes. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and put the contents in the bottle. So before we decorate it, you've got your water in there, your warm water and your glycerin. Now, Zoe, I know you're going to want to do this part.
Okay.
Ooh, our favorite thing, Zoe.
I know, it's the fun glitter part. If everything in life involved glitter, I think she'd be the happiest.
But there's
Okay.
still more glitter.
Which glitter, which ones do you want to put in there? You want to do snowflakes?
Snowflake.
Let's do some blue ones. You want,
This one.
you like that one? You want to do this dark gray one too?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay, so you want to stick with blue and silver. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I'm going to cut the end off here. So you've got your
I wanna do it.
craft scissors, blunt tips. Okay, you cut yours off on the corner that the glitter is out of. There you go. All right, and then we're going to pour it into the top of our bottle.
After you, Mom.
Oh, you're going to do it after me? Okay. I'm going to pour that in. So again, don't worry if you don't have this little blue pack with the snowflakes and everything, that's fine. You can put in whatever glitter you have. You can do rainbow glitter, you can do plain white glitter, all kinds of colors. Use your favorite colors if you want to.
That's what's so great about these projects, Jen, really is that you can really make them your own and just use whatever you have at home.
Yes, that is art and crafting that's my favorite part is it doesn't have to be the same as anyone else's. There we go. And you can use what you do have or make it however suits your personality. Good job, Zoe.
And a couple of people are concerned with how much glitter. Do you have any idea on how much should be put in? I mean, is there ever really too much?
Yes, there is too much. Okay. If you put so much glitter in there, here, back up just a second. If you put so much glitter in there that, it pushes the water out, that's a bad amount of glitter. So I'm going to do this in stages so that you can see. So that was one little pack of glitter. And this has given like a really cool blue. Actually, why don't you flip up to my front camera and it may show it better to get a white background.
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be a good thing to show them too, because we're getting questions about it clumping at the top. But yes, I think it's just clumping because they haven't shook it yet.
Yeah, no, it's going to clump at the top. So if you look at this guy, he's sitting still, like he's got a little bit at the bottom and he's got some floating on top. That's completely normal. Again, the glycerin is a suspension, liquid. And what it's going to do is it's going to make that glitter act differently than if you just had it in water alone. So that's completely fine. So check this out. That's pretty light on glitter. That's one little pack of glitter and one little pack of snowflakes. Yes, ma'am.
Can I decorate it?
Yes, you may decorate it now. No, don't peel that off. Are you gonna draw shapes? Draw some snowflakes and then you can cut your snowflakes out. Okay, so now I'm gonna put another pack of glitter in there and kind of show you the evolution. You can use, so for the pack that comes, I think it was a 6-pack, you can use every one of these packs and you're going to get, you'll still be fine. I mean, again, I wouldn't put in like a ton. Like if you're using the shaker of glitter, I would say probably 3 or 4 tablespoons is the most that I would go. Because what'll happen is it'll get so opaque that you really can't see through it. But if it's too light, then it'll be like this, where it's really like a light, what do you call that when it snows? The flurries. It's like a flurry where it's just there. All right, so I'm going to put another pack in. I'm going to do the silver one here. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. And remember, I mean, I know Debbie said it, but I want to stress it on the decorating here. Don't worry at all if you don't have exactly what we have here. I'm going to show you what the project looks like from the description online, but by no means does that have to be how yours is. So look, you can already tell a difference. I just added one little pack of glitter and it's already much, much thicker in there. So again, use your best judgment. What I would do is, I mean, you have a lid for this thing. So I would put some in, swirl it around, see if that is how you like it. And if you want to add more, add more. All right.
I have to do a different one because I messed up.
Okay. Don't peel that off, please. Thank you. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, so now that we have the glitter in it, I'm going to show you guys how to do the decoration. So we're going to do the pom-poms. Actually, Zoe, I need your assistance for this one, dear. Here. It's okay. You can come back to it. It will be there when you're done. All right. So for those with little hands doing this, see, little hands here, put your hand down. Oh, put your hand up. So for little hands like this, you're going to want to wrap all the way around the hand. if the grown-up's doing it, I found that the right size pom-pom, so this is about the right size pom-pom to make, you know, an appropriately sized earmuff, is really 2 fingers. So the trick though is you're gonna cut off a little piece. I've got my yarn. Now the yarn I'm using, I wanted to show you, I've got 3 different kinds. So I have a really thin one, the blue one. I have a medium size or average size, and then I have this thick, cushy one here. So you can use whatever yarn you have. And I actually took one of my pom-poms and put all 3 yarns in there. Kind of hard to see. There's like a glare. There we go. So however you want to do it, however works best for you. So you're going to cut about 12 inches here. Let me have your hand. Remember, you're going to put your hand up here. Put your hand up here like this. Okay. Now what you're going to do, it works best if you have a grown-up and a kiddo, and you're going to put that string in the middle finger. So halfway on either side, right? And just leave it there like that. And then you're going to take, let's see, let's do our pom-poms with all 3 just for fun. Okay. So if you're using 3 strands, you're going to go around 15 times. If you're only using 2 strands, you're going to want to go around 20 times. Okay. I'm going to use 3, so I'm going to do 15. All right. Ready? Are you going to count for me?
Yes.
Okay.
15.
So 15. Ready? 1.
1, 2, 3.
Uh-oh, I'm picking up pipe cleaners. Oh my gosh. Like hitchhikers here. 3.
4.
4. Now make sure you don't get the little string you put in between the fingers. Don't get them caught up in the strings that you're wrapping. All right, 4.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Very good. All right. So I got 15, and I'm just gonna cut it. Don't cut you. I would never
No,
cut you.
not that.
Okay.
Don't.
Don't squeeze you.
No.
Okay. All right. Very important. Don't tie this down too tight, or you'll squeeze your kid. All right. So now what I've done, I'm gonna do this again. So you have your strings over here, and take one side and come up back between those 2 fingers that you put it through in the first place. Don't get that wrong, because then you'll tie a finger up in there. All right. So you're gonna pull it through, and you're just gonna make a loose knot. Don't pull it too tight. And then have them gently slide their hand out, pull your hand out. And then see, now I have a bunch with the string across the middle. And then I'm gonna cinch it down really tight, and I'm gonna tie a knot in it. All right.
So Jen, some of our friends have that little pom-pom maker that you like so much.
Okay.
So they're using that one.
Oh, yes. If you guys need me to tell you about the Pom-Pom Maker, I have to show you guys how to make it without, because not everybody has one. And I would hate for you guys not to have earmuffs. Okay. So once you get the knot tied in the middle, right? So here I've got my string hanging out. I don't want to cut that off, because I'm going to need it possibly later to glue it down. So what you're going to do is cut around the edge where it's folded, right? So all I'm doing is I'm opening up, cutting in the middle of those loops, and I'm opening up the yarn like this. So see how this side is still bundled? This side is open. So I'm just taking my scissors and going through the middle of that loop and opening them up. And go slow, because this part, you know, yarn wants to bind when you use scissors, especially little ones using craft scissors. It takes a little bit of finesse. Okay, so it's going to look real crazy when you get done with it. So now comes my favorite part, the sculpting part. So all you're doing is you're just going to take off those sharp edges of the pom-pom, and you're just sculpting it, making it round. Go long, you cut them short, like this, until it looks the way you want it to. And if you give it too much of a haircut and it looks not to your liking, just wrap another one. You need to make 2 anyway for your earmuffs. And then I'll show you guys real quick how to do this on the Pom-Pom Maker for those of you who might be interested. If you're like me and you make your first pom-pom and then you got completely addicted to having pom-poms around everywhere, I had to buy like 12 Pom-Pom Makers because I had a pom-pom problem after that. Okay, so now check out. Cute little fluffy ball. Oh, very nice. We have a decorated star on our bottle. All right. Okay, so clean up your pom-pom shear and I'll get one of those pom-pom makers. All right, now they make these in so many different sizes. Here, let me reorganize before I do that. Okay. So there are lots of different sizes. Most of the time when you buy these, they're going to come in a 2-pack and it's going to have 2 different sizes in it. Occasionally you can buy one that just comes with 1 or it'll come with 2 of the same size. I like buying the ones that have 1 where they have different sizes. That way I have options. But this one right here, that it's kind of a yellowy orange color. This is the one, I don't know, let's see, it may say on the back. Yeah, this is the 45. So this green one is the 65. The 45 is the one that actually makes this size pom-pom. So the way it works is it opens up like this on both sides. So both sides will open up like this. I'm gonna rotate it. There's a little dowel in the middle. And it comes apart because you're gonna need to take it apart when you're done with your pom-pom like that. So what you do is you open one side, and I'm just gonna show this once since we have to move on to our Santa pants. But this, you know, making your pom-poms, either way you do it, that's how we make the snowballs. So the snowballs that we talk about, that you can have the indoor snowball fight, that is really just a skill that you've learned today, making these pom-poms for your earmuffs. All right, so you're just gonna spin it around half. So see, I had opened up one half, the other half is still tucked under here. You're just gonna spin it around until it's good and full. And you can do as many strands as you want. You can do 1 strand at a time, or like I'm still using 3 strands. But you're gonna put it on there until it's nice and full. So see how it's kind of bulgy on the inside and it's all covered up on the outside. And then you're just gonna push that down, push it back in, and then you're gonna open the other side. And I don't usually cut my string at this point. I just move it right on over and I start wrapping on the other side. Some people like to cut the string. It just depends on you. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it good. Make sure you get the whole arch covered and then close. And then I'm gonna cut that string as soon as I find my scissors. There we go. So cut the string, and then you're gonna want a little piece of string to tie in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that again, about 12 inches. And then, so this is like wrapping it around your fingers, right? Well, now we're gonna open it up. So there's a little groove inside where you wrapped it. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna insert your scissors into that groove and you're just gonna start cutting, and you're gonna cut all the way down that groove, follow it, go all the way down, all the way around. So down through the yarn and around the little half circle, and go really slow. It's really hard on your scissors to cut a big old bundle, tight bundle of yarn like that.
I put some snowflakes.
Oh, I like your snowflakes. So you're gonna do like that. And then you can cut your cross piece. So this was the piece we talked about. I didn't cut it in between, so I'm gonna cut it now. And then you've got the other side. So do the same thing over here. Start at the edge in that groove and just go all the way down. And it's important before you tie your string on it to make sure that you haven't Make sure that you haven't missed any strands. Okay, and it's also important to keep it closed because it's gonna, you've put a lot of pressure on that and it's gonna wanna open, so don't let it open. Okay, so now you have, see that yellow groove inside there? Now you have a place to lay your string. So you're gonna put your string inside that groove and it's gonna go all the way around and you're gonna tie it really tight like this. Not so tight that you break your yarn, but you don't want it loose or your strands will fall out. So you're gonna tie it, and then I tie it a couple more times just so it doesn't come undone. Okay, and then very, very carefully, you're gonna open up these sides. So the yellow sides. And if you meet any resistance, like maybe a strand didn't get cut, because I just hit one that didn't get cut, don't force it. Go back in and very carefully cut that strand. And then there we go. It'll let you open it up. If you don't, what happens is it pulls the stuffing out. It pulls the pom-pom stuffing out and you'll have to redo it. All right, so I did one side. I'm going to do the other side. Go slow. Make sure there's no strands uncut. And there's not on that side. And then once you get it done, see how it's on either side. So I talked about it comes apart. Just kind of wiggle it and pull apart like that. And then you can pull your pom-pom off. And the nice thing about the Pom-Pom Maker is it's a little more shapely when you get it out at first, but you can see there's still places that you're gonna have to trim up. So it's gonna have a little bit of an oblong shape, kind of like a fuzzy football. So you're gonna want to still give it a little bit of a trim just to make sure that it looks the way you want it to. All right, and there you go. All right, we better get gluing. Zoe has thoroughly decorated our little pom-pom guy.
Done.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Okay, make sure you put your trash in the trash can.
Okay.
Mommy hasn't done a great job of working clean over here. Okay.
But I'm trying not to.
So the next thing you want to do is take your pipe cleaners, and I'm using silver again. You can use whatever color you want depending on what style glitter you ended up doing and
Trash pile.
you know what you want it to look like. And
There's some in the course.
that's okay.
Do you have any ideas, Jen, if they don't happen to have pipe cleaners?
Yeah, you can use yarn for this too. I mean, it's not going to be as sturdy, but you can braid yarn. So if you look at this little guy, he has a braided scarf anyway. So you can braid yarn and make an arch. You can do a paper arch if you want to. All right. Uh-oh. Carrie. All right, so all I did was I twisted it like this, and then you can fold it.
I just want to cut mine.
Okay, you're gonna cut yours. So you can do that too. You can cut it right in the middle because it's half of one, or you can twist it again to make a sturdier band. And then this is what you're gonna glue to the sides here to make the bed. And I would recommend that if you're doing this without a grown-up, you're using your craft glue. And if you have a grown-up and you have a grown-up with a hot glue gun, hot glue sets much faster, but you don't want to do that if you don't have a grown-up there with you. Very nice. So something that you can do is if you are using glue, I would recommend that you tape it. So if you want that glue to hold and it's kind of coming up undone, you're just going to put your spot of glue on the side and you're going to put your headband on it. And then you can tape that and it'll hold it in place for a little bit while it dries.
Wow, that's a really great tip.
It can be frustrating sometimes when you're working with glue and you've got something that really wants to move.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. What kind of glue are you using? Is that the Creatology glue?
Yes, I am using the Creatology glue. And in fact, I'm just gonna use painter's tape because painter's tape won't leave a sticky residue usually. You can use whatever kind of tape you have at home. So don't feel like you have to have a special kind of tape. You can use, you know, Scotch tape, masking tape. But again, I'm gonna put that there with a little bit of tape and a little bit of tape. Okay, so that it has a chance to actually set up. Okay. Now, while this is gluing, I want to move over to your Santa and let's get started. So hopefully you've had time to cut out your template and trace it by now, because we are going to start cutting out those pieces. So again, you've got your little template pieces, and they have letters on them. So the letters tell you which color if you're reading the directions online. So I'll go through those real quick.
Thank goodness, Jen, because we have gotten a lot of requests to start working on the Santa one.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So the colors I picked here are black, white, red, and green. So black and, well, the boots fell off, but the Santa pants are red and white, and then the boots are black. And then you've got presents down at the bottom that are red and green. So what I did was I took the templates and I actually drew them on the back of the foam. That way I don't have pen marks on the front, or for the black one, it was really hard to see. So you can take, you know, take a pen, take a pencil. And I also put the little letter in there just so I wouldn't get my templates confused. So real quick, the boots are the item labeled with the letter C, and those are going to go on black foam. Now, if you don't have foam, that's okay. You can use construction paper, you can use cardstock, you can use regular paper and color it if you want to. But foam has a little bit of rigidity, so if you're using paper, you might have to, you know, put popsicle sticks behind it to help it stand up. All right, so again, letter C, those are the boots, they're black. And then we have the the white pieces. So the white foam, which looks very similar on both sides. Those are letter B, and it's two little rectangles. Those are the cuffs on Santa's pants. And it can also be used to make the brick on the fireplace. If you want to make the little foam pieces here on the lid, you can use the same size to make those. All right, the pieces that are letters A, D, and E, those are red. So that's Santa's pants, and that is the base right here on the top. And then there's a little support piece on the back. That is the trapezoid here, which is letter E. And then I didn't draw anything on green because I'm going to freehand my presents because I'm living large. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut these out. Now, if you want to go ahead, so if you got multiple people working too, and you're trying to get this done, you can also go ahead and put your glitter in this one too. So just like we did the other one early, you can take, so for this one, I think I'm just going to use like a plain glitter. And I'm just going to pour some in.
So while you're putting the glitter in, we did receive a couple of questions about what happens if it's clumping too much at the top or too much at the bottom. Could that be because they don't have enough glycerin?
So you can try putting a little bit more glycerin in, but like we talked about earlier, it's going to have a little bit of clumping going on. You can also shake it up and it'll help. So there's, I mean, I'm not a scientist. It's probably something like a static quality that happens, or the fact that this glitter is such a smooth surface that it wants to clump together. I have found that some glitters clump worse than others. So like the big glitter like this wants to stay together, but I think it looks cool because it actually reminds me of snowflakes, which is why I always pick this white one here. But that really fine glitter like we used in here, it doesn't seem to bunch together, or if it does, you don't notice it as much. But I found that a little goes a long way on the glitter. And if you're in doubt, like, you can always put some more glycerin in there or baby oil. I'm going to add some more to mine actually, because I think I'm a little light on this one. All right, all good questions. All right, so we're going to cut out our pieces real fast and we'll get them pasted on. So I'm using a foam that has an adhesive backing on it because it makes for really quick work. So, you know, I'm always a big fan of use what you have at home, but the next time you're in Michael's and you want to buy something new, if you haven't had this sticky foam, the pre-sticky foam, you might try some. It's pretty cool. Once I started using it, I have never gone back to the other kind. All right. So I'm almost done with my red pieces. Okay, so I've got my red pieces here. I'm gonna leave them letter side up, I think, for now. And then little white pieces. I may never get the snowman back. Zoe's having such a good time decorating it. I think she's taken it in her own direction over here.
I made a journal with Snowflake.
I know you did.
I am.
Hey Zoe, why don't we tell Debbie some jokes while we're
Oh, yes.
cutting? So can you tell Debbie why the little girl was cold on Christmas morning?
Because it was December.
That's funny.
That is funny and very true, unless you live in Texas.
Yes.
Probably
Now,
gonna be not cold.
I think I have one for you.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Here,
I think.
you think.
Yes. So, what kind of dance do snowflakes go to?
Maybe our audience members can help us out with this one. Zoe doesn't know. A freeze dance. That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
Is it a more formal dance, Debbie?
It's a more formal dance. Oh, someone said snow dance, so that's close.
Oh, that's close. That's halfway there.
So a snowball. So someone has a joke for you, Zoe.
Oh man.
Ooh.
What is a snowman's favorite thing to do?
What?
Chilling out.
That's a good one.
That was.
All right, I got all my pieces cut out here. So I'm going to start sticking them on. You don't have to shake it up. I just do this for fun. See, this is what happens. You get a sensory bottle and I can't stop shaking it. Look at that. Okay.
I want to try.
All right, real quick. Oh man, that's a crazy snowstorm. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is the first thing you're gonna do. That's right, we gotta put the pants on. But before you can put the pants on, you're gonna have to put this little rectangular base down. So the red foam labeled D, you're gonna put it on the top in the middle of the lid that you have. Now, keep in mind, if you're using recycled containers at home, you might have to vary the measurements a little bit because, you know, your lid might not be as big as my lid. All right.
So you bring up something very good when you said about people using things. So someone told me in the Q&A that they're actually using big plastic ornaments. Isn't that a great idea?
That is a really good idea. I like that idea. Okay, So the next part is the pants, and this is tricky. So you're gonna need the trapezoid and you're gonna need the pants, which is A and E. So you're gonna stick the pants perpendicular to the little red rectangle that you just put down so that they're sticking up out of this rectangle. And then, so that I don't do anything yet. You're not sticking it. So leave the backing on, and you're gonna just kind of set it where you want it, decide where you want it, and then take your trapezoid and the small side, you're gonna put halfway up on the back of your pants. So if you look at it like this, it's the sticky part is sticking off halfway, and the other half is sticking onto the back of the pants. And then you're gonna bend it at a right angle, bend it back like this, put the pants where you want them on the red part, and then you're gonna stick this back down. So the trapezoid is what's holding your pants up. That's a weird sentence. All right, like this. Okay,
I got black.
you got black glue.
Yeah.
All right, hey, don't put any glue on that because I have to put pom-poms on it, okay?
Oh, come.
Oh, come on,
I want
I'm crushing your creativity, aren't I? It's because there are a lot of people here that want to make sure they see what I'm putting together. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put the little white parts onto the end of his pants. So this one you're going to peel off the sticky back and center it on the pants. Do that for each one. And make sure you're putting it on the front of the pants, not the back of the pants. Do the other one. And then for the boots, you're gonna stick the boot on the other half. So the half that you've left hanging over, that's where you're gonna stick the boot. Now, again, you can use glue for this if you don't have, if your foam isn't adhesive on the back, or if you feel like it didn't make good contact, you can always put tape. So back here where there's a little seam, if you want, you could put a piece of clear tape back here to hold his boot together like that. But this is how it's gonna look, okay? All right, now for the presents, you're gonna take whatever colors you want. I think I'm gonna use red and green. So I'm just gonna cut out some squares and rectangles, which is why I didn't draw a template, because those are fairly easy to cut out. And those are gonna be my presents. And you're just gonna stack them on the bottom so that they look like they're stacked at the bottom of the Christmas tree.
So we have some kids making some, being very creative and making a couple different things. So Lena, one of our Kids Club regulars, she's actually making an elf.
Oh, that's
Yes.
awesome.
So I think this would be a good time for us to remind everyone, Jen, that we would love to see what they're making. And the best way for them to do that is for them to get with their grown-up and have them take a picture of it and put it on social media, hashtag make it with Michaels, hashtag Michaels classes. And that way Jen, Zoe, and myself can see them.
Oh, look what Zoe did. She's over here working away without me. She
Oh,
actually
she
the
is.
strings and tied them on to the arch. So we didn't have to glue our pom-poms. She tied them on. I like that method better.
So do I. Great job, Zoe.
We'll glue it. We have to wait for the other glue. I'll put some eyes on it. All right, so I've put a stack of presents here. I'm just gonna do one for time's sake, and that way I can show you how to do, you know, the decorations on it. So for those of you who did go ahead and do the paint pen, or who's wanting to use paint, if you just have regular craft paint at home, that's okay. You can use that too. That's how we're going to decorate our presents here.
I know how to do it.
You know, okay.
I know how
You
to
know what
do
I
it,
need you to
so
do?
what?
I think we're missing something. I think he needs a scarf. See his scarf?
Oh.
So for the scarf, here, let's show him real quick. So the scarf is just a braid of the same yarn that I used to make the pom-poms. And it's about 12-inch braid. So what I did was I just got 9 strands, and I did 3 of each kind, but you can use the same color if you want. And then you're gonna divide the 9 strands into bunches of 3 and braid them. About 12 inches long will do just fine. And then you're just gonna wrap those around, and then you can glue it or hot glue it or tape it around the snowman, which Zoe is going to do for us now. I like the tying method better because then you can take it off and it doesn't require glue. All right, so I got my paint pen working. So you can, oh no, Santa's pants are being crazy. All right, so you can make a bow at the top with your paint pen. It's really hard to see. I just made a little white bow, and then I'm gonna make wrap lines. So like maybe this one has ribbon wrapped around it, and then this one has polka dotted wrapping paper. And you can decorate these however you like. This one is a striped present.
Ooh.
You like that one?
Yeah.
So they're super quick and easy to do with your paint pen.
So Jen,
Yes, ma'am.
can you just spend just a few minutes showing some of our friends how to braid?
Yes. Let me get my yarn. Okay. So I'm gonna do this with just 3 strands.
And I think that's probably the really important part, right? Is that it's no matter how many pieces you use, it's always in 3 sections, correct?
Yes, yeah, when you're braiding, it's always in 3 sections. And the reason why I said 9 is because it made it thicker. So if you're doing 9, you're just gonna, you're gonna get your lengths. And if you want a 12-inch strand with some fringe on the edge, I would just recommend like cutting about 20 inches of your yarn. So let me just get my sections here. All right. So what I've done is I've just looped 3 sections of yarn, and then I'm gonna cut them real fast. Hold on one second, Zoe. All right. Cut the loops at the ends so that I have 9 independent pieces. All right. So now I've got my 9 pieces. And what I'm gonna do at the beginning is just tape a bunch down because it's easier to work. You want me to open that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really need those.
You want some eyeballs? Okay.
I need to.
Okay. Oh, that's my string. All right, so we're gonna tape the top here of the 9 strings. Okay, so since I'm using 3 different types of yarn, I'm making sure that in each bunch I have, I'm making sure that in each bunch I have 1 of each type of string. So I have a thick white, a thin white, and a blue in each little bunch. Uh-oh. It's important that your strings don't come out.
I made a little camera.
I see that.
I'm working very hard.
I see that too. Crafting is hard work sometimes.
Is this out of glue or something?
It may
But
be.
it's always fun.
It is always fun. Okay, I'm just gonna really make sure that that's stuck down. Okay, so now I've divided my sections here. And it's really just about one over the other, right? So take the outside one and you cross it over the middle. And then you've got your 3 again, right? So then you're going to take the opposite outside and cross it over the middle. So what's happening is every time you do this, the outside piece that you put becomes the middle one. And you just alternate sides, outside to the middle and outside to the middle, outside to the middle. And I'm doing this really loosely and exaggerated so you can see it. You can practice and you can get this a little bit tighter. You can also tie it around something and you can pull a little bit harder than against tape, but it's always outside across the middle and then opposite outside across the middle, just like that, until you get your whole braid done. And then you're going to tie the end like this, and then you'll tie the other end, and that's going to make your scarf. And then you can just trim the fringe. If you have extra fringe left over, you can trim it down to the right size so that you just have a small portion left on the outside of the knot. And mine, it's like 2.5, 3 inches. Okay, Debbie, did that answer all the
Yes, it seems to have helped the people that were asking the questions. Thank you.
All right, and then before we run out of time, I want to get to the Christmas tree inside. So for the Christmas tree, I'm going to use the green pipe cleaners and 1 gold one for the top. And again, you can do this however you want. And then my beads are down here. Oh, and if you don't have, we kind of have gone back and forth between the two, but if you have pre-made pom-poms, you could use pre-made pom-poms for the earmuffs instead of making them out of yarn if you want to. Okay, so the tree, we're going to take our 3 pieces here and we're going to curl them around that dowel rod we had. You can also use a pencil, so don't worry if you didn't. Actually, that's it. I think I am going to use a pencil because my dowel rod is still kind of wet and that's gross. All right, so you're just going to take the pipe cleaner and go around, round and around and around and around. This. Pull it off the pencil. And so it's got like this curly look. You're going to do that to all your green ones. What are some other things you guys are making if you aren't making Santas or Christmas trees or elves? Anybody making a snowman?
That's a good idea. Someone was making Cindy Lou Who.
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, how about the Grinch? Did anybody make the Grinch? Zoe would have made the Grinch if she had thought about it. Yeah. All right. Almost done with my tree. So once you get the pieces curled around, we're going to take this gold pipe cleaner and we're going to make a star. Right. So you have your 3 pieces and you're going to kind of stretch them out so that they are about the same length. And then you're going to take one end of each of the green pieces and you're going to spin them together. So so you're taking the little ends here and just twist them together so that it makes a tree shape. And you can use more if you want. You can use more than 4. You could use like probably 6 to 10 of these would easily fit in this thin bottle. So now if you want to also, you can put your beads on. So the beads look like ornaments. So if you have pony beads, which most people have pony beads hanging around, you can just thread those onto the pipe cleaner and move them up in different increments along your tree, and it looks like ornaments. I just have like a whole bunch of different colors here. And I have the clear ones. If you, I mean, you can use whatever kind you have. I know there's opaque, there's metallic ones, there's different shapes. If you have some that look like ornaments, that'd be amazing. Or stars or something. To put those on there. All right, so I'm just gonna do that all the way up. Do a few on each branch. And then I'm going to put the star on top. And you can do the star different ways. So you can take the star and cut it into 3, or you can take the gold pipe cleaner and you can cut it into 3 pieces, and you can twist it in the middle and give it pointy stars, or you can make a star the way you would draw a star. Oh, nice. Zoe's got hers done.
I don't want to do the Christmas.
So
do the Christmas tree.
So some people are making Rudolph shakers.
Well,
Isn't that a great idea?
it is a great idea.
And oh, I know you're gonna like this one, Zoe.
Oh man.
Someone is making Elsa.
Of course they are.
Yes.
This is awesome. Isn't she?
Mhm.
Yeah, she is.
I don't
Okay.
even know how to make Elsa.
That's all right. All right, so I've got my star. So you make a little star and you can attach it to the top of the tree and just twist it around that same point where you twisted all the green pieces together. You're just going to attach your star there. So you have your star on top of your tree. It's kind of hard to see, just like this. And then, and man, I think I actually poured too much water in this one because I'm gonna have a hard time squeezing that tree down there. I think I'm gonna pour some out. All right, so now you're just gonna put your little tree down in there, put the star through. You might have to put it through at an angle, just like that. And voila. So you have Santa coming down the chimney, dropping presents under your tree.
Oh, I love it. Will you hold it up? Will you hold it?
Yeah.
Let me do your front camera.
Yes, yes.
All right, we're ready.
Okay. So we have Santa. Here, let me get back a little bit. Santa coming down the chimney to get the tree. And then we have the little snowman.
Oh, that's those are great.
You want me to swirl them?
Yes.
All right, now. Haha. Yep.
Can you please pour
Nope.
this in? I want it to be.
All right. So any last questions before we wrap up?
Well, Jen, someone was asking if you and Zoe have your own YouTube channel, but I think it would be great for you to point them to where they can see more videos with you guys.
Yes, all of our videos can be found on Michael's YouTube channel. You can go to the kids online classes. There's a whole folder there of classes. Some of them, you know, are Zoe and I, and others are our vendor partners or other Michael's teams that that have been teaching classes with their families. So that is the best place to find us. And like Debbie said, make sure that, you know, if you want to share these with everybody, you can take a picture, have your grown-up take a picture of these. You want to hold it? Have your grown-up take a picture, and then that you can put it on any of our social media pages and hashtag Michael's online, or I'm sorry, Michael's classes, and make it with Michael's.
And so one more thing before you leave. There's been a couple of people that have asked about tomorrow. So tomorrow, the 3 of us will be here again at the same time, correct?
Yeah.
And they were asking if they don't have, Yeah, if they don't have yarn and things, can they still join us and just draw and listen to your story?
Man, I'm always happy when you guys join us. Please don't ever think you have to craft along with us. I'm just happy you guys come and join us. We're going to be reading Little Crafty Christmas and making this cool Christmas star. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's just the red, green, and white. I think it's that one with the sugar. Yeah, sugar and cream. So it's the sugar and cream yarn. It's got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 craft sticks and some pony beads. And then you can find the little book online, and we'll be reading a little story and making a star and wishing you guys a Merry Christmas. So yeah, we'd love it if you join us. Thank you for coming today. All right, you want to say bye? Do we have any more questions before we go?
Nope, that's everything. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
You want to hold up our things? Here, hold
Yep.
them. We're going to hold them up, shake. Oh no, the pants. We're going to shake them and say bye, okay? All right, bye.
Bye.